My wife said she disappeared for 2 hours with the guy who tried to kiss her during her girls' trip to buy pizza. She claims she's telling me because one of the girls told her husband, and she doesn't want me to hear it from anyone else. I don't trust her anymore. I'm 32M, in a really weird headspace right now and need some outside perspective. My wife, Sarah, 30F, and I have been married for 6 years, with 2 kids, 4M and 2F. Until recently, I thought our communication was solid. She's a stay-at-home mom, and I work remotely, so life's been hectic. When her college friends invited her on a 4-day girls' trip to a lake house in Colorado last month, I encouraged her to go. She deserved a break. When she got back, she seemed off. Distant, moody. At first, I thought it was just post-vacation blues. But that night, she broke down and told me that on the last day of the trip, they met some guys at a bar, and one of them, let's call him Jake, flirted with her and tried to kiss her when they stepped outside for air. She claimed she immediately pulled away, told him she was married, and went back inside. I was upset but relieved she shut it down. She swore nothing else happened, and I believed her. Until 2 weeks later. Last night, she dropped another bomb. She said her friend Leah told her husband about a pizza run incident from the trip, and apparently, Leah's husband knows me through work. Sarah didn't want me to hear it from someone else. It turns out, after Jake tried to kiss her, she agreed to go on a 2-hour pizza run with him that same night. Her reasoning? The group was drunk and hungry, the nearest pizza place was 30 minutes away, and Jake insisted on apologizing during the drive. She said he was remorseful and just wanted to make things right, so she agreed. Red flags in her story were: 1. Timeline shift. Originally, she said the kiss happened on the last night. Now, she's saying it happened on day 2, and the pizza run was the next night. 2. The 2-hour gap. Google Maps says the pizza place was 15 minutes from the lake house, not 30. When I asked why it took 2 hours, she said they got lost, then blamed a long wait at the restaurant. But the place is takeout only after 10 p.m., no dine-in. 3. Phone behavior. Since the trip, she's been super protective of her phone. Last week, I noticed she deleted a text thread with an unsaved number. When I asked, she said it was a wrong number. Her justification were that I didn't want drama. She said turning down Jake's apology would have made things awkward since he's friends with Leah's cousin. And you're overthinking the timeline. She claims she got the days mixed up when she first told me. And he was sorry, I felt safe. She insists Jake apologized a lot, cried about his own failed marriage, and just needed someone to talk to. I asked why she would even agree to be alone with someone who disrespected our marriage. She snapped back, "You don't trust me?" and walked out. Now she's giving me the silent treatment, which is really unlike her. I really want to believe her. We've built a life together, and she's always been trustworthy. But the inconsistencies, the deleted texts, and her getting defensive are really messing with me. Update. Hey everyone, I wish this update was a happier one, but here we are. I'm devastated, angry, and feeling oddly numb. For those who need a recap, here's my original post. To everyone who warned me about trickle-truthing, you were right. After my last post, I messaged Leah's husband, Mark, 35M, to grab a beer. We met at a dive bar, and it was clear he didn't want to be there. I asked him about what he knows about the trip. He started by saying, "Look, man, I don't like stirring shit, but..." And then he unloaded. Leah had told him that after Jake tried to kiss Sarah on day 2, Sarah did pull away, at first. But later that night, she was laughing at his jokes, playfully swatting his arm, and generally being flirty. By day 3, the group noticed Sarah and Jake getting even cozier. When they left for the pizza run, Leah thought it was suspicious but didn't step in to stop them. They never came back with any pizza. When I confronted Sarah with Mark's story, she went into full defense mode. First, she tried to discredit Leah, saying, "Leah's just jealous of our marriage." Then she insisted that Mark was lying, swearing, "We did get pizza." When that didn't work, she flipped the script and accused me of not trusting her, saying, "You're choosing strangers over me." But I had receipts. I pulled up the pizzeria's hours. They close at 10 p.m., and her so-called pizza run was at 11:30, and I also pointed out a $40 charge on her credit card at a liquor store near the lake. That's when she broke down and finally started telling the truth. At first, she admitted they kissed, but said it was only once and that it meant nothing. When I pushed harder, she admitted they made out in his car, blaming it on the alcohol. And when I finally demanded to know what really happened during those 2 hours, she confessed that they parked by the lake and things went further, but we didn't have sex. According to her, they only touched each other and she insisted it wasn't emotional. But at this point, does it really matter? Sarah begged me to stay. She said, "I was lonely, you've been so stressed with work." She promised she'd do anything to fix things. She even played the think about the kids card. But when I asked why she lied for weeks and kept stringing me along, she just kept repeating, "I was scared to lose you." Too late for that. I checked our phone records. Turns out, Sarah had been texting a Colorado number daily since the trip. When I confronted her, she admitted it was Jake, claiming he just wanted to apologize again. Sure. As for the kids, they're with my parents right now. I can't even look at Sarah without imagining Jake's hands on her. I've already retained a divorce attorney, and we're drafting the papers. My therapist says I'm in survival mode, which feels accurate. Sarah's mom, predictably, took her side, telling me marriage is work. My parents, on the other hand, offered to cover the retainer fees for the lawyer. I just wanted to thank this community. Without your advice and support, I'd probably still be swallowing her lies. Edit, for those asking, yes, I got an STD test. Results pending. Final update. Hey Reddit, it's been a brutal year, but I promised I'd close this chapter with a final update. For those who follow this nightmare, thank you. Your support kept me sane. Here's where things stand. The divorce was finalized last month, and here's how it went down. We have 50-50 legal custody, but I was awarded primary physical custody of the kids. They live with me during the school week, and Sarah gets them every other weekend. The judge factored in her unstable judgment, thanks to the texts with Jake and Leah's testimony. That definitely didn't help her case. As for the assets, we sold the house. I used my share to buy a smaller place near the kids' school. Sarah moved into a condo about 30 minutes away, which her parents are paying for. They're still in denial, insisting she made a mistake, not a choice. On the financial front, Sarah tried pushing for alimony but was denied. Since she's able-bodied and has a college degree, the court told her to find a job. She's now working part-time at a dental office. Sarah fought hard for more custody, even going as far as dragging Jake into court as a character witness. That backfired spectacularly when the judge asked Jake about the Colorado trip, and he admitted they'd been texting for months. Sarah's lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. After the divorce, Sarah and Jake dated for about 3 months. It didn't last long, though. Jake's so-called remorse was apparently short-lived. He ghosted her after she asked him to meet the kids. Sarah's been trying to make amends through what I'd call her apology tour. She's in therapy, and last month, she sent me a handwritten letter where she admitted, "I ruined the best thing I ever had. I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm sorry." I didn't bother replying. As for her family, her sister DM'd me on Instagram, saying that Sarah's depressed and lonely. Part of me feels a bit of pity for her, but honestly, not enough to care. The kids are adjusting well. They're both in play therapy, which seems to be helping them process everything. On the upside, I got promoted last month, so at least some good has come out of this mess. As for me personally, I'm still going to therapy. My therapist says I've moved from survival mode to reconstruction. I guess that's just a fancy way of saying I'm less angry and more tired these days. I'm not dating yet. My main focus is on the kids, but I did download Hinge and talk to a few people. Here's a twist, Leah and Mark are separated now. Turns out, Leah had her own harmless fling on a different girl's trip. Mark DM'd me, and his message said it all, "We're both idiots for trusting them. Now we meet up for beers sometimes." Trauma bonding at its finest. This whole ordeal has taught me a few things. First, trickle truth is like death by 1,000 cuts. If they lie about the small things, they'll lie about the big ones too. Second, kids are resilient. And finally, scars fade. I'll never trust the same way I used to, but I'm not going to let Sarah's mistakes steal my future.